I said to Scott that because I knew what he was sending me, because I knew what was coming, I said I would open it on the vlog. And now this has shown up. So it's fairly heavy too. I have no idea what is in this box. And he will never, never get a better opportunity to pull one over on me than me opening this on the stream. Hey guys, what's going on? Jamie here again, and welcome to this week's game hunting vlog here on Sidescrollin. It's Monday morning here. We've just had Easter weekend finish up. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling well rested. I had a good, quiet Easter this year, and I'm ready to crack on with some big projects this week, hopefully, if I get the chance to get stuck into some things. So yeah, I think I'm going to be quite busy again this week. I don't know how many secondhand stores I'm going to be getting out and about to, unfortunately, this week. But I do have my eyes on quite a bit going on eBay. I've got some eBay orders arriving, one of which actually I'm very excited about. Hopefully that gets here. I'm expecting it to get here tomorrow, all going well, which means it'll make it into the end of week wrap up. That will be my first piece of retro cardboard in the collection. Woo! So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and bet that there is no way in the world you'll ever guess what it's going to be. I'll give you some clues. It was released in 1997 and it was for the PC, and it comes in a fairly sizable box. Now, if you've watched previous vlogs, if you watch my Grail games list, it's not a Grail game, but you'll have a sort of rough idea on my tastes when it comes to games and gaming, and PC gaming in particular. So leave a comment down below if you manage to guess what that retro cardboard coming in is going to be before you get to the end of the video, and spoil it for yourself. No cheating. So project this week is, I've been doing some thinking, and I'm actually going to do what I think is going to be a complete overhaul of the game room, which is where I'm standing right now. So let me switch the camera around and I'll show you what I'm thinking of. What I'm thinking of rearranging, what I'm thinking of moving around. It's going to be pretty significant. It's going to be a huge job. Let me show you. Hang on. All right, so there we go. As you can see, it's in a complete state at the moment. I've got games piled up here. They are games that are getting cleared out, board games. I've got games down the bottom that have been sold that need to get packaged up, hopefully this afternoon, and sent on their way tomorrow. We've got last week's haul still sitting here on the table. I haven't bothered adding it to the shelf because everything's probably going to change quite significantly here. This is what I'm thinking. So I had my mum here last week, right? And my lovely mum, we moved a lot growing up. Like I've probably lived in, God, 20 to 30 different houses, right? So the concept of a family home is, you know, pretty alien to me. When people talk about having a family home that they grew up in, that's not an experience I ever had. But what that has done is made mum very, very adept at moving furniture and fitting a family of 6 into plenty of houses that absolutely were not built to accommodate 6 people. So she's pretty good at the old furniture Tetris. So she came in when she visited last week, came into the room and I said, Mum, look, this is the problem, is I need to figure out what to do in this room. I don't spend a lot of time in here. I want to spend more time in here. That was the whole point of having a game room, is that to be a space that I can come and chill out in and enjoy being in. That's the whole point of doing the game shelf in the first place, right? Is to have a lovely shelf of memories that I can hang out with and look at. But I just don't have the space. What can I do in here? So what we came up with, an idea Mum very kindly and very adeptly thought of, that I probably would never have ever landed on. I was thinking of, unfortunately and sadly, potentially having to get rid of this table that I don't want to get rid of because they're hard to find, but I couldn't see any way of keeping it in this room. What she suggested is that we actually move this table against this wall over here, and then we move all of the shelving along the far wall and potentially coming around just to maybe poking out just in front of the window over there. So that means as you step into this room, I'm sitting in the doorway right now, you'll be greeted by the shelving of games, and then to the left will be the table. Because the table is so huge, you can actually use the rear half of it underneath for storage. So all of, for example, my convention crap over there, all of this, all the boxes of shit that I've got lying around, that can all be stored under the rear half of the table. So it's not going to interfere with my legs underneath it. I'm going to move my gaming and streaming PC into this room and set it up on one half of the desk, and the other half of the desk can be used, still used for its current purpose, which is an art station / potentially being used for games / war games, that sort of thing, right? Just on a smaller scale. I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. It's a huge job, so everything is going to have to be removed out of this room, moved out into my lounge room, the shelving moved along and repositioned all across this wall. I was worried, as I said last week, that these cases, these bookshelves, do not fit against this end of the room. But as Mum has pointed out, they actually don't sit against the wall anyway. So they can just very happily sit in front of the edging along the ceiling without any fear of toppling over, because there's so much weight pushing them down into the floor. And we can always, as I do, you can probably see little cardboard wedges that I've got under the front feet there to just make sure it's leaning back ever so slightly. So that's going to be potentially the project this week, is turning this complete bomb site mess into a pleasant space that I can sit in and actively use, rather than it just being relegated to storage. So I will see how we go. Like I said, big job. We'll see what happens, see how much of it I get through. But I am, like I said, I'm pretty determined. I've had a good rest over Easter. I'm coming into this week firing on all cylinders. I'm ready to get this done, I think, because the sooner I can actually be in here and start streaming in here, recording in here, just actively spending some time in here, the better. So that is going to be the big plan for this week. How far through it we get? Well, everyone, all best laid plans, whatever that saying is. What did they say? Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face, right? I feel like doing all of this solo is going to be, it's going to do some face punching. But we'll see. I'm determined. We'll see how we go. Well, the postman's been, and great. That's awesome. You love to see it. You love to see it. Well, we were all set to play some Halo 2 tonight, online, starting off the Halo 2 campaign with Scotty, but no love. No love from Microsoft tonight. They didn't want us to connect. Plagued with network errors, and by the time we got it going, it was too late, so no Master Chiefing for us tonight. We'll have to put it on the list for next time. Disappointing. We just want to play you. Why won't you let me play with you? Why? Oh, all right. Morning, guys. Morning of a new day. Tuesday morning here now. Quite early. I've been up since before 6 this morning. rotten sleep last night, absolutely terrible. But an interesting turn of events today. So today is D-Day for the game room. It's happening today. I'm sick of looking at it and waiting. I just want to get it done. So today, Madam and I, we're going to gut the entire room, rearrange everything, put it all back, and hope that it all looks fine. So that is the mission today, and it was supposed to be the only mission today. I was not expecting to be doing any sort of in-person game hunting this week, mostly just eBay, but I'm on my way right now to pick something up that I found on Facebook Marketplace, of all fucking places. It's not often that you come across things I find that are worth buying, and usually if you do find something worth buying, it's not worth the effort dealing with Facebook Marketplace. However, I found something that someone was giving away for nothing, and I was like, well, for free, I mean, I'll have it. Now it's quite big, I think. I'm not 100% sure where exactly I'm going to put it. I don't know, that's a later Jamie problem. But it cost me nothing to try, right? So I'm about to drive out and pick that up and have a look, and yeah, that was a nice little find actually. I was pretty happy with that. The other thing I'm about to be doing is I'm on my post office run, so that's going to mean a quick nip into the bookstore. It's the very first morning back after the Easter break, so I'm not expecting them to have anything there, but you know, I'm right around the corner, so I'll pop in anyway. But I'm also going to get I need a dehumidifier, I think, for that game room, having so much cardboard in that extension room of the house. It does get quite damp in there. I don't want any of the stuff getting ruined. I don't want the game cases or slip covers or anything like that getting ruined. So I'm going to go and invest in a dehumidifier to put into the room. But while I'm there, I'm also going to be ducking into another place I didn't expect to be going, EB Games, because they have something that I want as well for what seems like a stupid price. I actually found it on eBay, of all places, while I was scrolling through eBay, doing my eBay checks, and came across this game for a really good price. And I thought, oh yeah, I think I wouldn't mind jumping on that for that much. Looked at the seller, fucking EB Games. I didn't know they sold on eBay. There you go. So, you know, I thought, well, I'll check the stock levels on their website. Apparently they've got one in stock here at my local EB. So if that's the case, rather than paying the postage, I'm going there anyway to pick up this dehumidifier. I'll nip in and just check that they actually do have what they say they have. And if they do, I'll grab that as well. Yeah, so that was another interesting find that I didn't expect to come across, but there you go. Have to rename them eBay Games or something, I suppose. So lots to do. I want to get all this done, get back here as quickly as possible, get stuck into this game room, and get that sorted and organized. And hopefully by the time that the day is done, that game room will be finished, and I will. This is probably fucking wishful thinking, right? But I'm hoping it'll be all done and dusted by the end of today, and I will have the space that I've been wanting to have since we've been living in this house. So that's the plan. Let's get on with things. Alright. Okay. Item acquired. Look, it's not in great condition. I'm gonna be honest, it's not in the best condition. It's very big and heavy. Okay, I'll have a think about it. I mean, all it's cost me is the drive here, so you know, it's not that big a deal. But I'll have a closer look at it when I get back home and see if I think it's worth hanging on to, or if it's going to be something I re-gift on to somebody else. Yeah. Can't complain for free, right? You know, first world problems. Now we avoided an altercation in the car park. Oh man. Why do people insist on reverse parking? Why? I don't get it. Why would someone hold up an entire row of traffic so that, you know, they can have 12 attempts at reverse park? Unreal. Just obnoxious. Anyway, we're here. We're at EB. Let's go and have a look. Alright, I walked in, checked the shelf, not there. Checked the website, says it is there. I was like, are you kidding me? Looked around, couldn't find it anywhere. So I went up to the counter, they had a look, they couldn't find it anywhere. They went and looked in the drawers, came out with it. It was their last copy that they had locked away on the shelf, or locked away in a drawer. So I was like, yes, thank you, I'll have that. Unreal, I still can't believe that it was that much, yeah. Anyway, I'll show you that at the end of the week, along with everything else. But right now, I am looking for a dehumidifier for the game room. So I'll see if I can crack one of those in. All right. So game acquired. We got the important thing. No dehumidifier though, unfortunately. They didn't have them. They don't carry the ones that I wanted in store. You can only buy them online. But they're free shipping, so I just ordered one online while I was in there. That should get here pretty soon. I think I interrupted a shoplifting. I went down the video game aisle just to have a look what was in there. You know, sometimes they have things reduced in there. And like it's a hot day today. Like I'm in, as you can see, t-shirt and shorts today. It is warm here today. So I went down the video game aisle and here's this kid sort of huddled down where nobody can see him in a cap and like this massive winter coat, like 3 sizes too big for him. Something you would, you know, wear to go to the snow. And he's like sifting through the PlayStation store, you know, gift cards, like really close to his chest. And when I walked into the aisle, he like looked at me and like stood up and just like practically bolted away as fast as he possibly could. Oh man, dear me. I shouldn't judge, should I? I shouldn't be judgy. Maybe he was just a very cold PlayStation enthusiast. Oh my. Alright, I'm gonna head up to the post office. I'm gonna drop off all these orders for work and I'll very quickly stick my head in the bookshop while I'm there. But otherwise, the next time you see me will, unless the bookshop has something amazing, will in all likelihood be to begin the battle against the game room. Alright, here we go. We're going to get stuck into this thing. I've got the muscle. Show us the guns. There they are. Let's get it done. There it is, that's the bulk of it done. So now what I'm looking at is how we go about laying out this room. So I've been talking to one another one of these shelves, which should slot in there just about right if I leave everything exactly as it is. Now, positives of having this layout. Number one, I could potentially see a couch being put in here, which would be really cool, because then we could play, I could even set like a TV up on a stand behind the PC, or use the PC monitor to play the Switch and whatever else, watch movies, whatever you like. So that's a big plus. I did not think we'd get room for a couch in here, or a big bag or something. So that's the positives, and there's also a lot of floor space as well. Like it's really opened the room right up. I mean, this table is still way too big for this space. There's no question about that, but it has definitely opened things up. We'll be able to slot an extra shelf in there. We'll have storage all across the top of those shelves as well as in the shelves. So that opens up a lot of storage space, which is great. Now, potential negatives are, if let's say I set the PC up here for streaming, that's my backdrop, which is, yes, very vain, but that does not make for a very interesting, compared to what I have now, that's not a very interesting backdrop to be looking at. I'd much rather have the games behind me, right? But I don't particularly want to put shelving across in front of the window, because that creates temperature variation, mold problems, all that sort of jazz. And I want to be able to actually use the window. So I don't like that. The other potential issue is if the idea was to have half of this desk being used as gaming and streaming, and the other half being used as an art station / tabletop gaming. However, you could sit next to each other and play something, but it is going to be a little bit awkward. There's no getting around that. If you want to sit down and play a game with someone, sitting next to each other is not the optimal setup for that. So that also presents a problem. What I'm going to do now is actually, because I can't help myself, is I'm going to empty that shelf there, which is carrying an immense amount of weight because it's full of books. I'm going to empty all that. I'm going to move this shelf out, because this shelf actually fits perfectly along here. It means we won't get an extra one of these in, but if I shunt this one along, that one will tuck in next to it over there, and they'll all line up all the way along just nicely. It fits pretty much to the centimeter. So I'm going to pull that shelf out of there, and then what I'm going to try and do, just to have a look at, see what it looks like, is I'm going to get this table and I'm going to swing it around and actually put it along this wall here. And what that does is, if I put my PC and streaming setup on the far corner, it'll give me a backdrop to game shelves, which will be nice. And also, because it'll be open on this end, it'll mean that we can still use this half of the table for playing tabletop games, and you can actually sit on the two sides of the table to play, which will also be good. But it means I lose my couch space. Which I was very excited about. Either way, we can still use storage underneath. In the back half of the table will be storage. I can set up even like a cube shelf on its side, laying lengthways, to cut this table almost by a third, and use more storage on the back half of the table. Where it is now, it gives me options to put art on the wall, which would be fantastic. If I swing it around here, I'm going to kind of lose that option. Although that wall will still be open, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to swing it around. I'm going to see how I feel, but that's as it stands, with an extra shelf in that little slot there, potentially a couch here, storage shelf on the back half of the table, where you could potentially put a TV up at the top, bits and pieces, store bits and pieces, and store boxes and things underneath on the back half of the table. That's option number 1. So I'll come back and we'll have a look at what option number 2 looks like. So I need to be a bit careful, actually. Well, I injured my back quite badly a couple of weeks ago. I need to just remember I'm not a young man anymore, moving all these shelves and things around on my own. So yeah, how do I feel about that? Sticks out in front of the door a little bit. That's okay. But I do... See, how would you put a chair there? That's going to be really in the way, isn't it? It'd only be there temporarily while it's being used. Computer over that side. Much better backdrop if we fill this up. A lot of this stuff can be condensed, I feel. There's another bookshelf in my room that's not being used very well. I feel a lot of this could be moved into there, which frees up a lot of this for game shelving. Or alternatively, we rehome those three. That's probably actually what I'll do. Grab those three, put them over here, put these two on this side, and use these mostly as the board game shelves. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a lunch break. I'm getting harassed by Madam for food. And I'll have a think about whether I liked it this way or the other way better. Alright, I think this is where we're landing for now. I think we're going with this option because I like the idea of having this side of the table more easily utilized. I've just done a swap because these big sturdy Billy cases need to hold the weight of the board games. All that cardboard weighs an absolute ton and the cheap little shelves just aren't up to it. So I'm going to try and condense the board game library down as much as possible to get it into these shelves, which will free up, I'm hoping, at least 2 of these smaller shelves for video game paraphernalia. And we've also got the tops on there. I've just swapped the 2 over just because I wanted the video game stuff behind me when I'm streaming, so that's where my PC is going to get set up. But yeah, I think this is what I'm going to run with for now. We'll go with it. I would like to get some lighting, you know, I'll get everything in here, see how it looks, but I think lighting is going to be an issue. We're going to need some lighting, but that's, again, another day's problem. I just used some pieces of cork tile underneath the front feet of the bigger Billy shelves here, just because these are freestanding. It's a rental house, we can't just drill them into the wall. And all of that weight on them does, you know, gravity does its job, it does push them down. But this, you know, before when I pulled on it like that, the whole lot would wobble backwards and forwards quite easily. I've just used these as a wedge to basically encourage it to lean backwards, and now it's much more sturdy just from that simple little thing. So there's a little tip: if you've got freestanding shelves, just a little piece of cork tile cut and jammed under the front as a wedge does wonders. All right, progress made. So the board games are in. I've managed to mostly condense them down to these 2 shelves here. There's a few across the bottom of what will now be the video game shelves, but like, look at that real estate. I've gone from 1 nostalgia shelf to 3. I've started putting some things back up, but I'm just about to get started putting, well, the collection so far away, including our haul from last week. That'll finally have a home on the shelf, so I'm going to get all that distributed through here to try and fill it out a little bit. But yeah, I'm well happy with that. That gives us tons of room to grow, which is probably dangerous. Probably dangerous, but that's okay. It could be cocaine. Here's a little curio I found while I was moving everything around. So this is a deck of cards for the card game of Treble. that is in Dinotopia Living Adventure, the PC game that I'm chasing. So I've held on to this little deck of cards that came with that PC game all these years, and I've just recovered it, which is so cool. I'm really happy I found that. Now I just need to find the rest of it. And done. For now, anyway. Oh man, it was like just before 10 o'clock this morning, I think, when we started this whole thing. It's now after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am calling it a day. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with how the whole room has turned out here. I think that's a nice space. It looks nice. Makes me happy. Gives me some joy when I sort of glance over what's here. I understand that I've filled out the shelves. It's mostly I've just sort of brought in stuff like our Switch collection to put in there, the Wii U and Wii collection that we had tucked away. The backdrop that I had in the office, I've repurposed and used it to fill in gaps, mostly over here. All of which is part of the collection, of course. I've pinched a few other things, art books and whatnot, just to fill in the hole. So this is all able to be put back where it came from, especially all this stuff here. That can all go back into the TV unit where I've pilfered it from as things grow. As you can see, it looks like I've just kind of taken a shotgun, a video game shotgun, and just blasted it at the shelves. There's no real rhyme or reason. I mean, we've got like PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, but then there's like Pokemon / DS / some Zelda over here, a bit of Dragon Ball Z, but with some Dungeons and Dragons like NES. Like it's kind of just all over the place at the moment, and that's fine. It was just to get it in there and fill up the space. And now that the space is filled, I feel like as new items come in and we have to find homes for them on the shelf, we can easily make room by removing some of this stuff that's just there to fill the gap, basically. But yeah, after an entire day of hard work, I'm happy with how things have come together. All I've got left to do at this point, that's really a necessity, is to get the computer in here, get the PC in here set up, because we are going to be streaming tomorrow night with Dom and Sam. We're doing our top 10 video game holiday destinations, places in video games that we wish we could visit. So that is going to be a fun one, I think. But in order for me to be able to do it, I actually need to get myself set up. So I'm going to be racing to do that tomorrow before streaming time. It's a really, 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 really busy. Wednesdays are always the busiest days for me here. But where there's a will, there's a way. I might even do it tonight, actually, to be honest. I might even get it all moved in here tonight, just to save one job off the list tomorrow. But yeah, the haul from last week, it now has a home. It's all there. When I have more energy and am more awake, we'll go through an in-depth walk through at some point. If there's ever a slow week, like where I can't really get out to any secondhand stores or get any game hunting done, I might go through like our Switch collection, our Wii U and Wii collection. Not that they're very big, they're very modest, as you can see, but it might be a fun thing just to go through and give my thoughts on everything we've got and why we've got it. That could be something to do. But yeah, there it is for now. The game room starts to take shape, and I'm pretty happy with it. All right, it's 8:30 and the PC is in. There's been a few issues, primarily to do with my microphone. The mic arm will not fit this table, so I'm going to have to think of a solution for that, because that's a pretty big problem. But it's done, it's moved, it's finished. Camera's working, tested it out, backdrop looks good. So I'm calling that a night as far as work goes. Last little thing I'm going to do, I just found my boxed Game Boy Micro. So I'm going to tidy this up very quickly, and then I'm going to find a spot on the shelf for this somewhere, but that's going to do it for me tonight. Bed, here I come. All right, it is Wednesday afternoon here now, and we're doing something about this whole situation. It's gone out of control, it's pissing me off, it's got to go. So I'm walking down to my little hairdresser now, and they're going to sort this out, and we'll see what the damage is afterwards. And there's the damage. I'm always super reluctant to cut it short. I don't know why. I think it's because I leave it so long to get a haircut, and when I go in there it's super long, and they're like, are you sure you want it that short? So they haven't gone as short as I wanted it again. But oh well, this will do for now. All right, it is Wednesday afternoon at this point. Back in the game room again, just trying to get things tidied up and put away in here. Getting prepped for streaming a top 10 list tonight with Sam and Dom. The postman has just been, he's just dropped off these boxes, and I just wanted to share these. Now this one here is not from Amazon actually, I just reused an Amazon box, but this is my retro PC game that has arrived. So I'm very, very, very excited to get stuck into this. If you haven't guessed yet what it is, I'll give you a couple more clues. So it's 1997 release. It is on the PC. It's in quite a large box, as you can see. It's not going to take up this entire box. I sure as hell hope there's some packaging in here and it's not just rattling around loose in there. But it is a pretty sizable box. What else can I give you? It's a fairly obscure game. It's got a blue cover, and it has one of those like Blizzard style fold out covers, okay, in a primarily blue box. Obscure 1997 PC game, big cardboard box, fold out cover, mostly blue. See if you can guess what it is before you get to the end of the video. So that's what that is. I'll be cracking that in very shortly. This now, this one here, layered in fragile tape, I'm a bit concerned about, right? This is from Scott, my buddy Scott. You might have seen us streaming on the channel together. I've known Scott for a very, very, very long time. We've been good buddies for most of our lives. And he had something that he wanted to send me, and I know what that is, right? So I know what this is supposed to be. However, what it's supposed to be is only the size of a standard 360 case. As you can see, this box is significantly larger. Now, I said to Scott that because I knew what he was sending me, because I knew what was coming, I said I would open it on the vlog, and now this has shown up. So it's fairly heavy too. I have no idea what is in this box, and he will never get a better opportunity to pull one over on me than me opening this on the stream or on the vlog recording. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to edit it at the end of the week. Before I do the weekly wrap up, I'm going to open this up and we're going to have a look at, God only knows what could possibly be in here. Scotty, what are you doing to me, bud? Stop it. Good girl. Good girl. All right. Sam and Dominic have been begging me incessantly, non-stop, to be on the vlog. So there you go. You can be on the vlog. Yes, you're welcome. I'm glad you love the vlog. Yeah, thank you, Dom. I thought I was looking all right tonight too, yeah. So generous, it's so polite. All right, there's another stream done and dusted. See if I can get you in my nose. All right, another new day, Thursday afternoon at this point. I just went digging in the cupboard, found this bag of bits and pieces and found my old Wii. So I've dug that out. The camera doesn't really show it, but it is absolutely filthy. That's going to need a really good cleanup, but I think I can tidy this up, get it shelf worthy. So that's another addition, as well as my old GameCube controller, which is cool. I've just finished cleaning this up. It's come up really well. So we'll find a home for that on the shelf as well. And also, Postman's Bean. All right, interesting hiccup in cleaning the Wii up. The rubber feet that it sits on have all melted into like a white goo. Like my fingers are covered in it. Hopefully it's not too toxic. So what I've done is I've just scooped it all out of each of the four sides. I've just cleaned up the underside now that it's sat on, so I've scooped them out. They'd all melted as well. And what I've done is just used a bit of trusty Goo Gone. Basically just doused it into the wells, let it sit for a while, and then I've cleaned it all out with paper towel and then given it a clean down with window cleaner, and that seems to have done the trick fairly well. So that's one side done, but that was the easy side. This is the far more dire situation. Oh my goodness. Was this like a known issue with these things? I don't know. But anyway, I shall continue. Holy mother of God. Okay, 30 minutes later. I think we've got it about as good as we're going to get it. Well, blurry. No, fine. There we go. Cleaned up, polished, looking respectable once again, and not covered in sticky, melted rubber. Oh my God. So gross. I'm covered in the stuff. All right, let's find a home for it. Alright, let's talk about my idiot friend Justin. So Justin, aka Germ69 over on Twitch. Go and check him out if you want to see a refined older gentleman absolutely smoke some kids in Call of Duty and Fortnite. Well worth a watch. Lovely, lovely man. Okay? Been friends for a while. He's a collector of things, old Justin. All sorts of things. Collects all different bits and bobs, games, gaming accessories, board games, all sorts of things, comics, figures. And one of the things he likes to collect are custom controllers. Now, I love a custom controller, and I have resisted the urge to pick any up because I don't need another thing to collect, right? But I love them, and I love looking at his collection of them. Every time I see his collection of custom controllers, all arranged nicely in acrylic boxes, I get very jealous and very envious. But they're always usually Xbox controllers, right? And I'm not much of an Xbox guy. I don't own an Xbox. I don't play a lot of Xbox stuff. I'm more of a Nintendo man, as you know. So this week on Instagram, Justin puts up a picture of the PowerA Nano Mario Kart controller. Now, I love PowerA's Switch controllers. I always go in and look at them and drool over them. I wish I could have a whole ton of them, and I've never pulled the trigger on it for the aforementioned reasons. But he put up a picture of this fucking thing, and are you happy now, Justin? Are you happy? Is this what you wanted? You're an enabler, my friend. You're an enabler, and it's not supportive, all right? When my kid comes and says this weekend, Daddy, I'm so hungry, what are we gonna eat? I'm gonna say, look, Justin got you these to chew on, okay? This is from old Uncle Justin. You're a bad, bad man. You son of a bitch. Oh my God. Ah! What am I doing? What am I doing? Anyway, I picked up some things and I'll show you in the end of week wrap up. Oh, I need a drink. All right, look. There's literally nothing. There's not even a pixel of space there.
Yeah, there is.
No, come on.
It's just like a single pixel.
It's got to be this one.
I don't know. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for it to not work?
No, it'll work this time.
Are you sure? Okay.
It'll be this one.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes! Level 70!
Finally!
First level 70! How's that feel?
Celebration way.
Does that feel good?
Mm-hmm.
You happy?
I'm not doing it ever again.
How long have you been playing this for?
I have no idea. Last year, whenever
A year?
Before Dragonflight came out, but like this character, just as Dragonflight.
How good is that? Well done. Good job. Congratulations.
I'm never ever doing it again. My
You've
whole
done...
life.
No, it's a long time, isn't it?
So stressful.
You've done incredibly well. I was starting to worry I wasn't going to have much to show you guys this week because I haven't had a lot of time to get out shopping and game hunting with the rearranging going on. That's taken up a lot of the week, a lot longer than I thought it would. But luckily, Postman to the rescue. What do we think? I think it looks all right. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. Like, I understand I don't have the background blur on that I usually put on the camera software, and I don't have the pink light on, just so you can more fully see it if I get out of the way. I think that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy. This is sort of what I was envisioning when I set out to do this, and I made the choice to lay the room out the way it is laid out now. I'm happy that you can actually see and enjoy and appreciate everything in the backdrop there, rather than having the desk where I initially was going to have it and having nothing in the backdrop. It's kind of like we can all sort of sit and enjoy the collection as it grows now together, you know? But yeah, I'm finding this to be a really good space to be in. I've been in here this week more than I have been, God, all year, really, this year. And it's been really, really nice. It's not perfect. There are things that I still, want to change, I want to add. There's a lot of filler on the shelf behind me, a lot of collectibles, a lot of toys, things to just fill space. So it looks very full and overwhelming at the moment, but I think once the games start to come in and we put them on the shelf, the filler will start to disappear and we'll get a clearer picture of, exactly what is in and part of the collection. I've got plans. I'd like to put something over under the window, a shelf over there, perhaps to put something on just for more storage. Maybe I was even talking to Scott earlier in the week about perhaps an old CRT TV that we can hook older consoles up to and play. That would be pretty cool. But I think priority number one for me at the moment is getting some art on these walls. Like this all looks fantastic. And then you can't see it on the camera, but the blank walls, I think they just stand out. Like all of this makes the fact that the walls are bare stand out quite a lot. So I think that's going to be the next step in the room, is getting something on these walls, some video game art in frames up on the walls around the place. But for now, I'm pretty happy. I really like how it's turned out. So yeah, now that you can see it in frame, in shot, let me know what you think. I'd really love to hear what you think of the new look as opposed to the old one. Right, the week. Not a lot of game hunting this week. I'm going to be honest. It's a pretty slim wrap up this week. But I think we've definitely gone for quality over quantity this week. There's not much to share, but what is there to share, I think are pretty, they're pretty hefty picks, I think, this week, especially including that new first piece of retro kit to put into the collection, which is very, very, very exciting. We've also got, I forgot to bring it over, I'll just go and grab it now. We've also got this, the mystery box. Scott's mystery box, still sealed, unopened. We're going to open this together. I know what is supposed to be in here, but unless it is packaged beyond recognition, that's clearly not all that's in here, and it's quite heavy. So I know one thing in here. I don't know what else is going to be in here. We'll find out together. But we'll do that at the very end. We'll open this up, and God, Christ only knows what we're going to find in this thing. I'll pop it down here for now. Okay, all right. So let's get into what we came up with this week. So yeah, not a lot of secondhand store shopping this week. The room, you only saw a very small amount on footage of what went into the move and the rearrange. That took up, honestly, quite a bit of my time this week. The weather also was not the best this week either. So not a lot of secondhand store hunting this week. Haven't found very much on that side of things, but we do have some picks from eBay this week that have come through, and they are, like I said, they are very, very good. Very, very good picks that I'm very eager to get on the shelf and into the collection. Some that I was specifically chasing that came through, as well as a few surprises that I came along while I was looking. Let's start off with what I bought brand new this week. So this is not part of my retro game hunting budget. This is coming out of poor old savings account. And I don't often buy a lot of brand new stuff, right? This is a bit strange for me. I'm not a big sort of buy stuff new guy, but I did pick up a few things from EB Games and Big W of all places this week. So let's crack into those first, and I'll show you what I picked up there. Then we'll get into what I found in my secondhand store, my one single secondhand store foray, as well as that free piece of kit that I found on Facebook Marketplace. I'll show you what I managed to drag home there, and then we'll get into our eBay picks, including my first proper retro game, I feel, and then we'll see what on earth Scott has sent in this box. Oh God. All right. First off the ranks, I went into EB because this was advertised at what I thought was a ridiculous price, and it's a game I have played before. I've played it with Scott, actually. He brought it up on his last visit up this way. Had a really good time with it, really enjoyed it. And when the anniversary edition came up in my eBay searchings and I found it was actually on sale from EB, I just ducked into my local store and I picked up the last copy that they had there. And that is this one right here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, the anniversary edition. So I haven't unsealed this yet. We might do that right now. Why not? Get a little bit of unboxing ASMR going on here with the plastic. Oh, that's the good stuff. That's the stuff. All right. So there we go. Slightly less glary cover. Scott said he was very jealous of this cover. I think I prefer the cover of the original, actually. There's the back over this one, but still a very nice striking cover. So this includes the, as you can see, Dimension Shell Shock DLC. We crack it open. Oh, I wasn't expecting to be anything inside, but lovely little inside art there. Cartridge. Yeah, just a great modern retro beat 'em up. You know, very much in the style of Turtles in Time. One of the first arcade games I remember playing and really loving. Played a little bit of it when I used to live with Scott, actually. Whenever he came up to visit, Turtles in Time was a regular that we'd break out and have a try of. And yeah, this is very much following in that same line. And I had a blast with this when he brought it up. Just a good old fashioned beat 'em up. It's not something you're going to sit and play for hours and hours and hours on end. But in short bursts, I do like a good beat 'em up. I really do. Double Dragon 2, huge fan of that one back in the day. Your Final Fight, your Streets of Rage, all those sort of classic beat 'em ups. And I think this one, I really like seeing these modern retro beat 'em ups. Like River City Girls is another one I really want to try out. But Shredder's Revenge, a good one. Glad to have it. $36 this was, brand new by the way. A pre-owned copy, right, of the regular edition of this was $45 at EB as well. Why? I don't understand. I don't get it. So, okay, cool. I'll have this one. Thank you very much. So yeah, there we go. One for the Switch shelf behind me there. Shredder's Revenge. I'll look forward to playing that with the kiddo. Scott also said because he owns it, we could potentially play this online. So you might even end up seeing this one on the stream at some point. So that was new purchase number 1. New purchase number 2. These were in Big W, my controller additions to the collection, courtesy of my friend Justin and his ridiculous, woeful enabling influence. They had a big sale on there on the Power A Switch controllers. As I said in the video during the time that I've always loved the Power A Switch collection, the Switch collection, for the controller designs. They've got some really good looking controller designs, really gorgeous stuff. And some of the ones that they had in there on sale, I was like, all right, now's the time to do this, right? I've got Justin showing off what he's found. These are available. I need to get myself and one and pick them up. So they're still in box at the moment. We'll unbox them here as well and have a look. The first one that I knew I definitely wanted, and I've wanted for quite a while, is the Nano Mario Kart controller. I mean, look at that. So cool. So I'll unbox that one in a minute. And the other one, this one might be a bit glary, but I just always think that this is such a striking design. And again, it was like almost half price. So I grabbed that one as well. And that is the Super Mario Fire Flower controller. I just love the white and the contrast with Fire Mario there. So we're going to open these up. I've got my little hobby knife here. So we'll get into these. And I'll give you a look at what they look like out of the box. All right. I'm sort of working around my my makeshift microphone stand. High budget. Because my boom mic arm did not fit onto this table. So I'm still working out a solution for that. But in the meantime, pile of boxes does the job. All right. But it does mean I am sort of like functioning around this big object in my way. Has such a nice finish on it. Get it out of the plastic. Look at that. The little Nano. How cool. I just love all the little emblems that are like the little loading icons for Mario Kart 8. All the paraphernalia that Sam saw on his visit to Super Nintendo World in Japan when he went through the Mario Kart ride. They've got stuff like this in the queue as you wait to get on the actual ride. All the Bowser oil barrels and things like that. It's just, I don't know, there's something super cute about it, super cool about it. And that looks so good. It's a mini, it's a nano controller, so it's smaller than your regular controller, but it actually I don't know. I feel like it fits in the hand pretty well, to be honest with you. Feels really nice too. It's light. It's very light. I like a bit of weight in my controllers usually. But I guess because this is wired, it doesn't need a lot of the tech inside it that the wireless ones do. But yeah, really cool little controller. Really happy to have that one. All right, we'll set that aside. Let's crack open. Get rid of this rubbish. Let's open up the Super Mario one. Really long cables on these too, by the looks of things. What's it say? Does it tell us how long the cable is? 10-foot cable. So even though that they are wired, you know, like you could feasibly still sit back on the couch and actually utilize these a bit better than you can some other wired controllers where it's just a really, you know, a really short wire. Oh, that looks great. That looks so cool. Check that out. It's a bit, my lights are a bit harsh. I can't quite show you, I don't think, the pattern. Maybe if I block the light just a little bit. I know this isn't optimal, I know. But it's got a really cool faded pattern. But yeah, just Mario throwing the fireball. I mean, that looks fantastic. Whoop. See, there's going to be a lot of this sort of problem, me bumping the mic boxes. Fits nicely in the hand. Chunky controller. Again, very light. Super duper light. But, yeah. It was mostly... I mostly get these, you know... I love a custom controller. I love them mostly as just display pieces. And, yeah. That's a nice one, that one. I'll be happy to have that on the shelf behind me somewhere. So we'll find homes for both of those. I've already got a spot picked out, I think, up on the Mario Kart 8 Wii U box. You can't quite see it. It'll be out of shot, but I think somewhere up there's like a little spot on top of the box that would look really, really nice. So I think that's probably where they'll end up. All right. Happy with them. Very, very cool. Get out of there. All right, so that's it for the brand new purchases this week. Let's have a look at what we picked up in the second-hand market. So first off, this behemoth next to me. Let's talk about what I found in the bookshop. It's only just a little tiny thing. They were clearing out kids' books for like half price, and they're already pretty cheap, really. But they had this in there. And I don't know. This is not game related, but I just picked it up and saw it and thought that does look kind of cool in a really geeky kind of way. And that is a Star Trek, The Next Generation Enterprise model book kit. So this lets you build yourself a little model Enterprise, which would be really cool. And even more surprisingly, in a secondhand bookstore, it's like all there. It hasn't been used. All the bits and pieces are there. Nothing's punched out. So I could actually give it, you know, whether I keep it as it is or whether I actually punch this out and give it a shot and try and put it together and sit it somewhere. I don't know where I would find space for this. I think it would be hard to find it a home in this room. This might be another room of the house one, but I love Star Trek. I absolutely adore Star Trek. So when I came across that, just sitting there, it was $2. I thought, oh, you know what? Let's grab it. And if I make it, I make it. Great. And if I don't, it's just a cool little curio to have on the bookshelf for maybe one day, right? So, but that was it. No games, unfortunately, but just this one that came home with me this week when I was out looking. Let's talk about this Facebook Marketplace find. It's sitting on the floor next to me. I'm going to heft it up here and show you in a second. So I don't know what I'm going, like I've been thinking about it all week. It feels like this was weeks ago that I went to pick this up. I know you will have only just watched it in this video at the beginning of the vlog this week, but for me, it feels like it was weeks ago that I went and got this thing. And it's just been sort of sitting on my desk in the office while I contemplate where I'm going to put it or what I'm going to do with it. And I still have no idea. I don't know if it's going to have a home here. I don't know if it's going to end up being passed on to my partner's kiddos or something like that. But when I saw it there for free, I don't know, I couldn't leave it there. I was like, I've got to have that for nothing, you know? Like, anyway, I'll grab it and I'll show you. So it is the Carrera Mario Kart slot car set. Now, front on it looks okay, right? But you can see there's some damage down here. There's torn in the corner here. It's pretty battered up on here. On the sides, especially this side, you can see it's pretty well loved, right? There we go. Just move the mic over so you can hear me around this enormous thing. It's quite heavy. Unlimited power. So it's all there, right? I'm not gonna pull it out, but it's all there. All the pieces are there. All the track pieces are there. The listing was actually advertising it as, you know, if you already owned this set, that this would make great spare track pieces, right? I had, you know, I wasn't sure what the condition was like. They only had like literally a photo of the center of the box. So I was hoping it would be in like nice display condition and I could find a home for it on the shelves behind me there somewhere. It is the same, as you can see, the same artwork as the Wii U box. So I don't think I really need two sets of that image in the game room, you know what I mean, on display. So, you know, I don't think I'm going to try and shuffle things around to slot this in, somewhere for it to be on display. But it was free. The only thing about it is, besides the box being a bit tatty, is that the cars inside are pretty banged up, right? They've clearly been very well loved. They're a little bit broken. They're still in one piece, but there's, you know, like the boosters on the back are snapped off, and the metal connectors underneath look pretty ratty and well used. The track itself looks like it's in really good nick. I saw one of these, you might remember, in one of the pawn shops that we went to a few weeks ago while I was out and about looking at things. They had one of these sets on the shelf. I can't remember how much it was, but yeah, to get this for nothing, even if it doesn't work, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I feel like if you held on to it, it could be valuable one day, you know? Maybe that's ridiculous. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, there we go. Mario Kart slot car set. A freebie. Free grab. Wasn't going to let it sit there. Not sure what I'm going to do with it. Not sure where it's going to live. There is a gap at the top of the board game shelf out of shot just up here, where it could potentially live. You wouldn't be able to really see it other than the side of the box to even tell what's up there. I'm just trying to see, does it even say on the side of the box what it is? Only just in very small font. So yeah, anyway, I'll mull that over in the old brain, but I've got it. It didn't cost me anything. It cost me a few minutes and the drive out there. So I'm very grateful to have it. You know, it's a cool thing to have just been given essentially for nothing. And yeah, I'll have a think about what I'm actually going to end up doing with it. But it's here. It's here. It's part of the collection for the time being. But they're my only two secondhand finds for the week this week. All of the rest of everything here is all eBay finds. There's not many. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eBay finds. I guess that's a few. 7 eBay finds that have come in this week. But there's some titles here that, yeah, I'm I'm very, very happy to have one that was a complete surprise. And even the retro one, I wasn't especially hunting for it. It wasn't a Grail game. But when I came across it, I was like, holy shit. I never in a million years thought I'd find this boxed. Anyway, we'll get to that. So let's get stuck into what we did find. First up on the list is a PC game called Trine. Now, this is still sealed. I'm going to unseal it because this cost me a grand total of $3 sealed. So I'm not expecting this to be, me cracking this open is going to significantly devalue this game. I don't think it was something that was superly well sought after. But I loved it. I really enjoyed Trine. In fact, I'd love to get the second one. And I remember the second one had like a beautiful sort of cardboard fold sleeve that at some point was basically just being given away at EB Games for like a couple of dollars. It was in the bargain bin, and there were dozens, hundreds of these things in a bargain bin at some stage. But I had a digital copy at the time, so I never grabbed one. But now I'd love to find a physical edition of Trine 2 to add to the collection as well, because I very much enjoyed that one and this one. So as you can see, there was a big torn off sticker on the plastic on the outside. We're just going to ditch the whole lot there. This could be making any collectors watching absolutely cringe, but I don't care. I buy this stuff for me to enjoy, and I'm not going to enjoy it sitting in plastic with that covering up the cover. Much prefer having it looking like this. There we go. There's Trine. There's the back. Whoop. This was a gorgeous game. Both this and Trine 2, absolutely beautiful games. Really fun co-op games. I played through these, both this and Trine 2. I'm trying to remember if I played Trine 3. I don't think I did. I think was Trine 3 the one that significantly kind of detoured away from what Trine was, and then they reverted back to it, the standard formula in Trine 4. I think that's how it went. I could be wrong. But Trine 1 and 2 I co-opted with Scott. Definitely with Scott. Perhaps also with my buddy Gary, if memory serves me right. And we just had an absolute blast going through these games. It was so much fun. No instruction manual, just an instruction leaflet. There it is. Obviously in mint condition. But yeah, just a brilliant little co-op puzzler. Side-scrolling co-op puzzler. If you've never played Trine or Trine 2, you can get them on Steam these days for basically nothing every now and then when they go on sale. I definitely recommend, if you've got a couple of buddies, I think it's specifically 3 players. Yes, specifically 3 players. If you've got a couple of buddies that you feel like you want to go through like a really fun side-scrolling puzzle game, Trine is a great one, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Really enjoyed Trine. Not too long, just the right length, it doesn't go on, it doesn't outstay its welcome by any means. In fact, I think Trine 2 could potentially have been stood to be a little bit longer, just because we were enjoying it so much. But $3. $3 for the collection. Good memories of co-oping this one. I thought, yep, we'll grab that. E309 Editor's Choice winner of GameSpot. So 2009. Wow. How about that? Yeah, a good one. I don't really ever hear people talking about it, or it doesn't often come up when co-op games get talked about. So if you played the Trine or any of the Trine series, make sure you drop a comment and let me know what you thought of it, because I really enjoyed them, and I need to get on and play Trine 4, which I've missed out on so far. So that's first one. The next one is in the collection because of my youngest brother, Ash. So I'm the eldest of 4 boys, and my youngest brother, Ash, and we are definitely the gamers of the family. We have a lovely connection around gaming, talk about it quite a bit, message each other often, and I don't get up to see my family very often. I mean, they live, a good 5 hours drive away from where I live. Just what I do for work and living arrangements and circumstances make it very difficult for me to get up there very often at all. But I do remember one particular visit where my brother Ash and I sat in his game room up there and just played this game, or I watched him play this game for several days. And it was just a hoot. Like, it was so fun. Like that. It's only a fairly recent memory, like it's not way back in the Wayback Machine, but it's more recent than probably anything else. Yeah, it's definitely way more recent than anything else. Maybe that I've even picked up so far, to be honest. I'd have to think about that. A fairly recent game, but the memories that I have around this game of sitting on the couch and watching him go a few rounds of this every day, and it was just shooting the shit and laughing and having a good time. And then when I got back home, I picked it up myself immediately for the PC, which is the version that I have grabbed to have on the shelf, and I enjoyed it as well thoroughly. And it's a game that I hadn't played a game in this series for a very, very, very long time. And the setting of this one in particular really grabbed me because I'm fascinated by the setting. I love the history of this setting, even though it was an awful, awful, horrific war that this is set around. And that is Battlefield 1. So, Battlefield 1, it's sort of like... I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it, because this is well into the era in which EA is just running the money machine, right? Like they're just this massive mega corporation. They're all about making the dosh now. The games always seem to feel secondary to how much juice they can squeeze out of their players. And, to some extent, this game is no different to that. But, I don't know, this one's still... It superseded that in some ways, I feel. Like, this was still a really good, really fun game, even in spite of some of the money grubbing attached to it and the EA logo on the cover. And so I really enjoyed it. I really, really loved Battlefield 1. I loved, like I said, I loved the setting of World War 1. I find it really fascinating and interesting. I love some of the battlefields, the way that they were realized in the game. And I know, it's a fucking video game. It's not a history lesson. It's not a documentary, right? This isn't entirely historically accurate as it got panned for at the time. I don't care, like I can love, even being a lover of World War, like a lover of World War One. That sounds like a weird thing to say. Someone who's fascinated by World War One history, right? I can still play and enjoy this for what it is, and I very much did so, and I very much did enjoy my brother watching my brother play it at the time as well. So this is I think a 5-disc. Whoa, there we go, a 5-disc set. There they all are. It's a little bit of a shame. Like, I always get a bit disappointed when you get the chance to have physical versions of games and publishers just put like the same image copy pasted on every single disc, like they're great opportunities to give us different pieces of art, to really make it a collectible item worth having. But anyway, nonetheless, they're all there, basically mint condition. I don't know that this has ever been used. The whole thing looks brand new, to be honest. There's not a scratch on it anywhere, not a scuff, nothing. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody got given this and they already owned a digital copy of it and never opened it. I'm not sure. It obviously wasn't sealed or anything like that, but it looks new. So yeah, good memories around this one, specifically with my brother, as well as some good solo memories as well. But just, a great game. And I think, it's fair to say the last great Battlefield game, really. And I think they'd had some swings and misses before Battlefield 1, but this one certainly, rose above the rest for me, and was the first one that I had enjoyed in a long, long time. Probably not since even back in the Battlefield 2 days, would be the last one that I played and really liked before this one. So, yeah, Battlefield 1. Great game. Loved it. This set me back a grand total of $3 as well. Yippee. So, yeah, nice little find. $3 for the shelf for the memories. Very happy to have that one. All right, let's get into something a little bit more in the memory banks. Let's go back a little ways here. So this next one is a PlayStation 2 game. Gosh, that is heavy. That case is heavy, which I've said before. I love a heavy case because it usually means a good manual. This is a game that both Sam and I, if you watched our top 10 couch co-op games of all time, or couch multiplayer games of all time, I should say, we both had this game on our list. This was the game for a little while there, I feel like, especially in my circle of friends, right? Like, it's kind of like how, for a while World of Warcraft was the game and then Minecraft was the game. This has never reached even remotely the heights of those games, but for a little while there in the competitive scene, this felt like the game. And it was certainly all my friends talked about and all that they wanted to play. It was all that was getting played at the arcades. There was like always a crowd of people around the arcade machine for this thing. And it's in a genre that I don't usually like, but I found this one to be really approachable and something that you could go in and actually have a hope of competing with somebody who knew what they were doing, at least to some extent. And that is Tekken Tag Tournament. So, Tekken Tag, man. Old Jin on the cover there. As you can see, a few scratches and scuffs on this cover. Look at the back there. And why is this case so heavy? Is there a big chunk? There is a huge chunky manual that's weighing this down. There we go. And we'll take this out and have a little look through. Yeah, look at that. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. Yes, we've got all the fighters being covered there. Old Eddie, the cheat character. There's a little slip here for a memory card and a multi-tap. Little advertisement there. What's on the inside here? Oh, it just ads for other games in the official guide. So that's in there. This was just a really good game, a really approachable fighter. It's the first fighter I had played, and I know they existed before this, that was a game where you chose more than one fighter. We used to love playing this 2v2, as in like two actual real players who would each choose one fighter on a team, and then when you switched out, you would hand the controller to your other player and they would take over. And that was a great way, or we found that to be a great way to play this game. Just lots of good memories around this one. It's such a, I found, approachable fighting game. It was a fighting game that didn't just operate on the 2D plane. It was sort of worked in the third dimension, which again, something I hadn't come across really before this one. I loved it. I really loved it. I just thought it was so much fun, and even if you didn't know what you were doing, it wasn't terribly difficult to just pick up the controller and give it a go, Yes, you would get trounced by somebody who did know what they were doing, but of all the fighting games that I have played, this was certainly one of the more approachable ones where you could just pick up a controller, hit some buttons, and, at least try and hold your own a little bit, where you weren't, it's not like you had to memorize like some 15 button combo to be remotely competitive. You could just focus on dodging and striking at the right time and actually make something of the fight rather than just being a walkover. So yeah, Tekken Tag Tournament. Really, really enjoyed this one. I specifically wanted to get, and this was difficult to find actually, and still quite expensive, Tekken Tag. I think it was, again, at that particular point in time, it was a ridiculously popular game. The Platinum Edition was fairly easy to come across. But getting this Black Label Edition with the full cover of Jin was not an easy task at all. I had to really, really look to manage to find this thing. So This one set me back a little bit more than the others. $14, my list over there tells me. I paid for this, but yeah, one I wanted for the wall, and I'm very happy that it's on there now. That'll go nicely next to Budokai 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, as two of the PlayStation 2 era fighters that I got on with really, really well and really enjoyed. So happy to have that one on the shelf. Tekken Tag Tournament, lots of really good memories, fun competitive memories of that one. All right, let's get into a big, heavy hitter here, like a real titan of the industry, a real behemoth of a particular genre. And I think if you are into RTS games, there's some big names that come up immediately, and I think this is one of them. Now, this, funnily enough, at the time, was not one of my favorite RTS games. I liked it, don't get me wrong. I liked it quite a bit. That's why I wanted it and why I've got it now. It wasn't my favorite, though. Where this one shone for me was just being like the absolute king of LAN parties for a while, with fan-created mods and content. Great campaign as well, you know, a ridiculously famous campaign. It's why it's lauded and loved by so many people, and that is the one and only Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos. Over 6 million sold. I wonder when they put that sticker on the box. It's probably significantly more than that at this point in time. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about Warcraft 3 that hasn't already been said? There's the back. One of the early fold-out Blizzard boxes. We'll have a look on the inside, of course. There it is. Look at that. The way Warcraft used to look. Now, this is obviously only half of the equation, right? Even though this one, I think, had by far the better campaign, Frozen Throne really is, like, this feels like half of, if you're going to get Warcraft 3, I feel like I've got half of Warcraft 3 here in my hands, right? Like, I feel like I need to find Frozen Throne to go alongside this one. And then I'll feel like I've got Warcraft 3 in its totality, because Frozen Throne is what we used to play at LAN parties, right? That's the one, particularly playing like Dota, right? To playing tower defense, tons of tower defense. Oh my lord, we used to play tower defense until the wee hours of the morning. Mostly with my friends getting very upset with me because I'm not very good at, wasn't very good at the game and would lose it for everybody. And typically I'm not a fan of one of those, you know, those types of games where it's co-op, but if one person fucks up, then everybody loses. But I did love tower defense. I really, really did. It was so addictive. And when you had the time to invest into multiple several hour runs of one of these levels, back in the good old days, we were young and carefree. I didn't mind as much. So, yeah, knew that I wanted Warcraft 3 for the collection. I still am going to hunt down Frozen Throne. I haven't been able to find a decent copy yet. This copy, when this showed up, right? So this was $15 I paid for this, right? This looks new. I don't know how well the camera really shows this, but when this showed up, it was one of those moments where it's like, is this like a reproduction box? Like, this looks like, you know, I don't know if you can see it. You can see the seal has been split here, but it looks like if that was stuck, it would just have literally just come off the shelf of a store. I couldn't believe how good a condition this was in. The photos on eBay just didn't do it any justice at all. And I was looking at a few, and a few of them looked significantly more beat up than this and wanting more money for their copies than this. I took a gamble on this because the photo wasn't very good quality on this one, but it was much cheaper. I went, let's just gamble on it. We'll hope it shows up in good condition. Did it what? Oh my lord. This is like one of the best condition games I think I've bought for the shelf so far. Unbelievable how good a condition this thing is in. It really, really is. It's like a brand new copy of the game. So yeah, absolutely wrapped with that. We'll crack it open real quick. Show you what's in the inside. All right. I don't know if the keys are being used or not, so I'm just going to cover them. There's the jewel case. It's got a disc in it, as expected. We've got product catalog, as in it's always the case in most Blizzard box products. We've got the tech tree chart. Whoa, there we are. For humans and orcs. And then on the other side, night elves and undead. Nice to have. Some of the other copies I was looking at did not have this. So great to have that. Enormous, look at this, enormous manual. Yeah, baby. That's what we like to see. Give that box some weight. And this thing is in depth. Holy crap. Oh, there's that iconic Samwise Paladin. Uther. Love the art. So good. These manuals, man, they're just like... I just love them so much. Is that another Samwise? Yep, that's another Samwise. Tauren. There's Arthas. Spoiler alert. That's a bit of a weird image to put in the manual, isn't it? If you've never played the game. Yeah, just good times. I don't think I finished the campaign of Warcraft 3. I think I didn't like how it sort of funneled you from one faction to the next. I think I would have rather have separate, like 4 separate campaigns that you could make your way through, rather than sort of playing through a story that involved all of the factions that you weaved your way through. But I mean, like, the campaign and the story in the campaign is why this game is so famous, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and bag it by any means. It's its most memorable feature. I'll put all that away. But yeah, wow, like, what a game. What a game. And this is like, you know, it did something like... I'd been playing RTSs for a while. I played Warcraft 3 quite late in my RTS phase that I was in at the time. And it did something very different to any other RTS with that story, right? Like with that narrative, with characters, with dialogue, cutscenes, little story, like the story, all that sort of stuff. I think it wrong-footed me at the time because it was just doing something so completely different to any other RTS that was out at this particular point in time. So for that, it gets credit alone. But yeah, just incredible game. You know, if you've played it, you know. If you grew up with this, you know. I don't need to tell you anything about Warcraft 3. So yeah, one half, I will endeavor to track down the Frozen Throne expansion, and then I can have them side by side on the shelf, and I'll be happy then. Even though I didn't particularly care for the Frozen Throne campaign, that's where most of my memories are around in terms of multiplayer. All right, this next one is... So I came across this one. This was a surprise. This is my surprise find. And I came across this completely by accident. I don't remember how this popped up or why this popped up on my eBay hunting. I must have been searching for something vaguely related to this. It might have actually... I know why this popped up. I think it's when I was looking for Street Fighter 4 behind me that's already on the shelf. This came up in the search as well, and I thought, oh my God, I remember this. Oh my God. And I watched it, and then as soon as I could, you know, the budget was back intact again, I snapped this up very, very quickly, because this is something that, Sam, if you're watching, you'll remember this as well. When Sam and I used to live together in our early 20s, we lived very close to a Blockbuster that was just a quick walk up the hill away, and we would rent this and other VHSs from the series out incessantly, you know. And I'm talking about the VHS of Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Oh, man. I couldn't believe that I came across this. It was just such a huge blast from the past. Such a good flick. Show you the back. So this, as well as the Street Fighter 2 animated series, there was a big stack of VHSs of the entire series and this movie at the Blockbuster, and we just had them on fairly consistent rental. If my memory serves me correctly. Let's open it up. Look at that. I showed my daughter what this, and I was like, do you know what one of these is? Have you ever seen this? Really good nick too. I mean, I hope it works. I don't own a VHS player. But if I ever see one for dirt cheap in a secondhand store somewhere in my wanderings, I will be very tempted to grab it and plug it in just so I can bang this in and have a go and see if it actually is in good condition. But yeah, when I saw that, it was $10. This was, I was like, I'm having that. I'm having that. I honestly, this is one of the things where when I like, it's like a see, want, buy reaction for me. This, I don't know that it would have mattered what they were charging for it, to be honest. I think when I saw it, I would have just snapped it up. Now, you can obviously also buy the DVD. The DVD is actually quite rare and hard to find. And when you do find it, it's decently expensive for, you know, a DVD these days, $20, $30, sometimes more. And I might pick that up one day just to have it in a more readily, easily watchable form, because it's a great movie that I've got a lot of good memories of. But the fact that this is the VHS, that's, I think, what sold it to me. I was like, yes, I want the VHS on the shelf, just for the sheer memory. So, Sammy, if you're watching, that one's for you, brother. Good memories of watching that together. I think Sam was the very first one who showed me this, actually. It was, yeah, good stuff. So, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie on VHS, into the collection it goes. Yeah, chuffed with that one. Surprise. Totally out of the blue surprise find. And as soon as I saw it, it was like being sucked back into a time machine, right? It was just nuts. Okie dokie. This next one is another one that involves my youngest brother, Ash. This is due to his encouragement, right? This was a bit of an impulse buy, I'll be honest. I don't know, looking behind me, where it's going to go or what exactly I'm going to do with it. It might end up in Madam's room because she's a big fan of World of Warcraft as well. But when I started talking to Ash about what I was doing and doing this vlog and making this collection, he was like, well, surely you're going to get a World of Warcraft figure, right? And I was like, I hadn't thought of that. I don't know how easy they are to find or how affordable they are anymore. Well, that, as it turns out, depends on what you're looking for and can vary wildly, very, very wildly. But I did manage to track this guy down from the old World of Warcraft figure series. Good old Brawl Bear Mantle. Now, my brother owns this already. Again, the pricing on these was everywhere. Like, I got him for the grand princely sum of $15, complete. There were versions of him, if I can get a little close up here, not complete, missing his staff that he's carrying, in significantly worse condition, for sky's the limit. $100, $200, as well as other figures from that series. Obviously, that series is long out of production. They had several waves of these figures. But I always, being the tight ass I am, I always thought that Brawl was a good buy because, like, the plastic to dollar ratio here is like peak in that series. He's a chunky boy. He is hefty, let me tell you. But yeah, great figure. The fact that it's one that my brother already owns, I thought is pretty cool. And now I've got it too for the shelf. It's something that was very emblematic of that period of time, like that early years of World of Warcraft, Burning Crusade, that kind of era of the game when these came out. Like, whenever I see these, they're incredibly nostalgic. They really evoke that nostalgia for that point in time when you were playing World of Warcraft.
in its heyday, man. Like, it's hard to describe to people who have come on board with it recently what it was like playing it back then. It's a bit like Pokemon, right? Like, it's hard to describe what Pokemania was like to people who were not around in 1998, 1999. This is much the same. So, yeah, I for $15, I thought, yeah, look, I'll have him. He can sit. In fact, you know what? He can probably just sit right here on my computer tower. Yeah, he fits there quite nicely, actually. So I think that might actually be his forever home. There you go. Problem solved. Yeah, but Brawl, incomplete, really, really good condition. $15. Yeah, I'll have it. I mean, and I know there's some fakes of these around as well. I don't think he's a fake. He certainly looks very real and looks legit. It's painted very well. Usually the fakes tend to have a really dodgy paint job. He doesn't seem to have that, but God, even if he is a fake for $15, I don't care. You know, it still gives me the same nostalgia input as it would otherwise. So yeah, I was pretty happy to have him. So there you go, Ash. You wanted it, buddy. There he is. Brawl's on the shelf. He's on the computer, and he'll live there now, I think, for a while. Right. Here we go. The cardboard. The retro cardboard addition to the collection. Did you manage to guess what it was, anybody? It's a hard one. I would be very surprised if you managed to get it. It's a pretty obscure title. What were the clues I gave? I think it's a fairly large box, 1997 release. It's primarily blue, the box. It's got a fold-out cover. I'll give you another one right now in case you haven't had a shot at it. It's in the RTS genre on the PC. A PC game, that was the other clue I gave. Can you guess what it is? Probably not one that you're thinking of. Let me know if you played this game back in the day, because I don't know anybody else who did. Nobody had heard, and I'm talking like back when the RTS genre was massive, right? We're talking Age of Empires, Command and Conquer era, peak popularity for RTS. Nobody that I hung out with, all of who were RTS fans, owned or had ever heard of this game. I have no idea how my dad found it or how he came across it. I was just actually talking to my friend Gary, who also loved RTSs back in the day, and we used to play a lot of them together. He remembers this game being incredibly difficult, but it's just, I don't know, there's something really cool about it that the other ones didn't have, and that is Dark Reign, the Future of War. So the copy I found came in this original box that's actually embossed, as you can see. Usually the light pisses me off here, but it's actually got an embossed cover, which is really nice. There's the back. Finding these boxed, I found this one, and that is it. On all of eBay, there was this one copy of the game that was still in box. And we've got the fold out cover. Look at that. Come on. Don't know how well you can see what the game actually looked like down there. I remember being quite a decent looking game back in the day too. But I do remember the campaign being very, very difficult. And not because of that difficulty back then, not loving it quite as much as I did, Age of Empires, Red Alert, Warcraft 3, that sort of stuff. But there was just something really, really cool about it. I don't know. I think it was the setting. Like, my memory is pretty hazy on it. It's like a far future sci-fi setting. What did it say here? A colossal war between the Imperium and Freedom Guard. That's right. The Freedom Guard is annihilating your world. To save your civilization, you must enter the heart of an empire at war, vanquish both military powers, and alter the destiny of a galaxy. Yeah. It was just a cool, like this. I remember this scene in particular, that one right there with the bridge. Very clear memory of playing that mission. But yeah, it graphically for the time, again, it was like like Command and Conquer and like Age of Empires, it was a 2-dimensional RTS. But it looked fantastic, I thought. And it had this very almost StarCrafty kind of vibe to it, but more, where StarCraft clearly takes place on like desolate, dead, vacant, barren planets. As you can see, like Dark Reign took place on fairly lush, sort of combo desert and forested jungle planets. There were always trees on most of the levels somewhere. We had like snow. Yeah. The units looked cool. The buildings looked really cool. It was just a cool game. There was like I remember like cyborgs and things, as shock troopers and that sort of stuff. It was just a really, really cool game. And I was very happy. Like there were not very many copies of this on eBay, full stop. Most of the copies I found, and we'll open this up and have a look inside, were just a jewel case, and that's it. Some of them had a larger, like standard sort of like, whoop, knock my light over. No. Like that sort of size case, right? This was the only one that I could see that came in a big box. And they wanted quite a bit of money for it. This was not a cheap buy. I managed to have a talk to them, and I'm going to talk about this in a sec, actually. So it's got this huge insert there, where you can see, like, that's what most people were selling, was just that part there, the jewel case. But then this sort of folds forward. Oh, it's hard to show. Right, this folds forward. And underneath, we've got a little leaflet about Dark Reign internet play. We've got important notice to Dark Reign players. Please note that the system requirements listed in the CD manual and player's manual have been revised to 130 megabytes of uncompressed hard disk space and a 16-bit SVGA video card capable of 640 by 480 resolution. This product also uses Microsoft's DirectX technology, which requires your system to have the latest Windows 95 drivers. Look at that. That's so cool. Oh, what's this? An Activision little warranty and tech support slip. And this. Now, I remember this, right? I don't have I remember the box. I remember Dad having the box in the cupboard next to the PC. It was just, put away, thrown up at the top of the cupboard. But this, the manual with this like embossed sort of fake leather cover with the foil symbol, this was something that was always around, right? This was always around the computer, sitting on the desk somewhere. And so when I opened the box and I saw that it had this in there, it was all worth it. It was all suddenly worth it because there's so many memories of this. Even when I wasn't playing the game, it was always there, right? Full color manual, by the way, in 1997. As I showed you in the Warcraft 3 manual, not many manuals were full color. But full color manual, not that there's many pictures in here, but all the pages have like, it's hard to show on my camera. Lovely background images. It's washing the color out. It's actually more of a tan kind of parchment with a white symbol behind everything. But yeah, just such a cool little thing to have. So that all came in the box as well as the game. And it all just fits in that massive insert. Now, I can't remember initially what the person wanted for the game. We did the whole like offer counter offer thing a few times, and then I think I just got in touch with them and messaged them and said, look, is there some sort of price we can work out here? This is what I can do with the shipping price that you're charging, blah, 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 blah. And eventually we came to an agreement. So I ended up paying for this $30 it cost me, and I was very happy to pay that. The lesson I learned, and that I will be carrying forward for any eBay purchase that I make along the lines of trying to, find retro games, is even if, if there's a make an offer option, always make an offer, right? Even if there's not a make an offer option, just message the seller and like have a conversation, have a chat about what you're able to afford or what you're willing to offer them. Sometimes, as I think was the case with this, because again, it was not a popular game at the time. I knew nobody who owned or played this except for our family. There's a good chance that somebody's selling these obscure boxed copies of old games. It could have been sitting up there getting relisted and relisted and relisted over and over and over again for a significantly long time, and the person just wants to get rid of it. And maybe they haven't thought about putting a make an offer option. Maybe they don't know there is a make an offer option. Maybe maybe they've forgotten that it's even listed for sale because it's tucked away in a cupboard somewhere. Maybe they listed it a year ago or something. Who knows? But it's always worth messaging the seller and making an offer even if they don't have the option for one. And sometimes, you will be surprised at, what people are willing to negotiate, like the prices sometimes that they're willing to come down to make that sale and get that thing gone out of their space, because if they're selling it, they clearly don't want it anymore. Yeah. So that is the lesson that I learned with Dark Reign. And it's a lesson that I am imparting onto you, lovely folk watching. Maybe that's an obvious thing. Always ask. Always message. Blah, 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 blah. Always message the seller and ask if the price is negotiable, or make an offer. Be polite about it. Thank them for their time, for taking the time to read your message at all, and just let them know what you're willing to offer or what you can afford, and see what they say. The worst case scenario in that situation is that they say no, right? Or they just ignore your message entirely, in which case you're no worse off. Best case scenario, you manage to get a decent bargain, okay? And you walk away with a game that you love and care about for less money than you might have paid otherwise. So there we go. Dark Reign, The Future of War, and my first proper retro cardboard edition to the game shelf. I'm going to have to find a spot for that because I do want to make sure that whole full cover is displayed. So some filler will be making its way back into filler land, into the cupboard, because I want that one showing for sure. That was the whole point of getting the big box. But yeah, so happy to have that. Just lots and lots of good memories playing that, watching Dad play that, playing that with my buddy Gary, getting frustrated with how hard it was, playing the instant action on it. It's a good game. It was a good game. Really, really good. I'd love to give it another shot and see if I can, crack it any better now with an adult brain than I could back then. Probably not, let's be honest. But yeah, happy to have it. Really, really good one. I was chuffed to find that. And that is it for all of my finds for the week. So let's do a very quick wrap up. Like I said, it's not very much quantity wise, but quality wise, we've got some solid hitters in there, I think, this week. So we've ended up with, for the week 5 haul in the local area, we got the Mario Kart track for free, which I'll, think of what the hell I'm going to do with that at the moment. I got my little Star Trek Enterprise Build a Model book for $2 at the secondhand bookshop, my good old secondhand bookshop that I visit. And then eBay came through at the very end of the week this week with Trine for $3, Battlefield 1 for $3, Tekken Tag Tournament for $14, Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos $15 in just, again, stunningly immaculate condition. I still can't believe just how good a condition that game is. It's insane. Dark Reign for $30, my first retro find, and Brawl Baremantle himself in the plastic flesh for $15 to adorn my PC tower, bringing us to a total of $82 spent, most of which went into Dark Reign itself for the box copy. And I think that's how it's going to go, right? Like, we haven't had many sort of big, chunky finds so far. I guess Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 was probably the last more expensive thing to grace the shelves. And I think as we get more and more into the retro side of things, the prices are only going to increase, right? No one's going to be selling, Super Mario Brothers 3 for $3. Yeah, not that that's what I'm chasing for my shelf, but you get the picture, right? As we get further and further back, things are going to get more and more expensive. We might end up with slimmer and slimmer weeks. But I've got some interesting news about that we'll talk about very, very, very shortly at the end of the video. So all I've got left now is the mystery box. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's finally put it to rest. This thing has been sitting here since Tuesday. Since Tuesday. It's now Friday night here, and I've resisted the urge and temptation to open this thing up just so I could sit here and do it on the end of week wrap up. So let's delay no longer. Let's go ahead and get this thing up here and see what's in it. All right. So how am I going to do this? Let's shove my microphone over here. Hopefully, you can still hear me okay. All right, so I'm seeing that it opens on the ends, which is a little bit concerning because I don't know how things have been packaged or how it's stacked, so I don't know if I am opening it on the right end or not, but we'll get the hobby knife out. Oh, Scott. All these years you've been waiting for a true gotcha. And this is your moment, right here. So as I said, I know one of the things that's in this box. Potentially it's the only thing, and he's just filled the rest with bubble wrap. Who knows, right? But I know one thing that's inside this box. All right, so I can see a lot of bubble wrap. So I'm going to put this on the floor. I'm going to readjust my microphone. And I'm going to very carefully open this bubble wrap. And then I'll bring in there whatever's in there up to show you. All right. Here we go. What even is this? I can't even tell what it is yet. I can't see what it is. It's brown. Looks like cardboard. More cardboard maybe? A box within a box perhaps? No? What is this? Hang on. Oh, my backlight just went out. What in the world is this? All right, there's more bubble wrap. I think there's a note. You'll have to excuse the lighting. I think my side light just ran out of battery. All right. I still can't quite tell what this is. It's an immense thing wrapped in bubble wrap. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. It's heavy. Oh, hang on. It's made of wood. All right, here we go. There is a note. Dear Jamie, as I'm sure to... Sorry, let me start that again. As I'm sure to our viewers, am absolutely disgusted by your callous treatment of such an icon. As I watch your ramblings, I continue to lay sight upon a triumph that should be shown more respect than merely occupying a position of minimal prominence on your shelf. Well, no longer, for I've enclosed a vessel worthy of such greatness. Love you, man, and joy, Scott. That's... Until after all the insults, that's really sweet. I don't know what he's talking about, though. Okay. All right. It's a frame. I can see now I've got all the bubble wrap off. It's a frame. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This does not contain what I thought it was going to. Scott, that's amazing. Oh my God. Okay. Holy shit. Dude, that's too much. That's too much. All right. So, I don't know if you can see it. If I move this way, no. If I move this way, right? Just here behind me, I've shown this off somewhere before. I think in one of the past videos. Scott makes like custom video game frames, right? And framed games. And he made me this there. Mega Man 2 frame. That I think I did when I did a walkthrough of what else I had in my collection that I hadn't shown on the vlog so far. And he made me that for me years ago, and it's one of my most like absolutely treasured, prized possessions that I own, and I love it to bits, and I'm never going to get rid of it. What he's just given me now is, look, I'm just going to show it to you. Holy crap. That's amazing. Look at it. So I own, as I've said in the past, I own Ocarina of Time, the golden Ocarina of Time cartridge. It's the only game that I have kept from my childhood, right? It's the only one that I still own. And it just sits there. It's sitting up there right now. You can see it. Just there. Just sitting there on its own with no home, no box, nowhere to live except on my shelf. And that's kind of how it's been for a long, long time in some capacity, right? Even before I was doing the vlog, even before I was doing YouTube, it would sit on a shelf somewhere in my office or somewhere where I could see it. Just loose. And so what Scott's done is given it a home. Now, I don't know how well you can see this or how well it's coming across on camera, but these are actually 3D. So the Ocarina of Time logo... Oh, this is weird doing it backwards. This Ocarina of Time logo here is actually like three-dimensional, as is Link on the horse, as is Navi. And then here, we've got the spot for the cartridge to sit. That's amazing. Thank you. I mean, I'm going to message him, obviously, after this video and thank him profusely. But if and when you watch this, Scott, I am actually genuinely, like, a little bit emotional. Like, that's incredible, man. I do not deserve... I've got no words. I don't deserve the time and care and effort. That is beautiful. You're getting all the reflections of my PC monitor. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a quick cut here, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to go and put Ocarina of Time into the frame, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like with baby in a house. So yeah, let's go and do that now. All right, I'm back. And she has a home. That looks fantastic. I think you'll agree. That looks absolutely fantastic. Oh my God. If I show this way, does it have less glare? Yes, it does. Look at that. That's better. I'll move over. There we go. Oh. There we go. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't believe it. Thank you, Scotty. It makes me feel bad sometimes, a little bit, for all the shit that I give you. Seriously though, I do not deserve such kindnesses. It is quite incredible. So that is beautiful. Make sure if you haven't followed Scott on Instagram, make sure you go and have a look at him at Scrage Plays. There'll be his socials down in the description of this video. Yeah, go and have a look. He is just getting started in making these in more variety. I think he's got a real talent for it, and I'm highly encouraging him to keep doing so, because I think that looks fantastic. Really nice. So I was just saying at the start of the video that I want to find something to put on the walls. Well, we just found something number one, right? Like, that is absolutely getting pride of place somewhere where I can see it very, very easily. Maybe just right here next to the PC. Although I wouldn't mind finding a spot to display it behind me, to be perfectly honest. If I can find a spot on the shelf to have this in the background, that'd be pretty epic. Yeah. I'll have a think, but it's going to be going somewhere, pride of place somewhere. Absolutely. Beautiful work. Absolutely spectacular. My cartridge finally is not loose on the shelf as it has been for the last 20-something years. That's amazing. Thank you so much, my friend. Love you, buddy. That's incredible. So, on that very, very happy note, I think that's going to do it from me this week. Now, let's have a quick chat about next week, because next week things are going to be bigger and better. You might remember earlier in the vlog, as I was rearranging the room and clearing space and making room for stuff, that I had taken a bunch of my board games down off the shelf that I was going to sell and move on. Well, a number of those have sold now. They've gone off to new homes. I hope they're very well loved and enjoyed. But the funds from doing that are going to be getting put directly into injecting this collection with a much needed boost of, I think, retro Nintendo. I think we're at the point now where I want to get some retro Nintendo cardboard on these shelves behind me from the era that I remember so fondly, the Nintendo 64 and earlier. And I think now's the time to do it, because now I have a far, far bigger budget to throw towards it. That was always the plan with those games, was to use that money to put it into the video game collection. So that's giving me a nice chunky budget in which to do that with and get that started. And so, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be doing next week. So next week, we are going to have not just a haul, we are going to have a mega haul. And I'm on the hunt now for Nintendo retro cardboard to put on the shelves, and lots of it. If I can find, I'll be trying to get as much value for my money and as many boxes on the shelf for my money as I possibly can next week. So make sure you come back next week and check out what is sure to be a very special video that probably won't ever happen again, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't see me having the funds to do this again anytime soon, but it is going to be a big bumper episode next week for sure. So make sure you stick around and come back and check that out. But that's going to do it from me. Until that very, very, very exciting week next week, I'm going to get on out of here and get back to work on this room, getting things sorted out. Thank you so much for hanging out and coming along on the retro game hunting journey so far. I hope you're having a good time. If you are, make sure you do jump down the bottom and subscribe if you want to continue to see these vlogs and continue to join me on the hunt as I try and track down all of my childhood games I remember most fondly to stick on the shelf of nostalgia behind me here. Hit that subscribe button and that way you'll be able to always make sure you're getting those updates and those videos as they come out. But like I said, you're not going to want to miss next week's if everything pans out. I'm already watching and have been looking at and bidding on and, making all the moves this week to get all the... I don't want to... I don't like writing checks before, like writing checks I can't cash, right? So I don't want to make any promises of exactly what types of titles or things or how heavy hitters. I am watching some grails. I am watching some games that I remember very, very fondly from my childhood. There's big, big things at play. I'm very, very, very excited. I'm like a kid in a candy store, and I've been given a budget with which to do it. So it's very, very exciting. Make sure you come back and check it on out. Until then, though, make sure you look after yourselves. And as always, in doing so, make sure you keep on side scrolling. We'll catch you then. See ya.